Today's conversation is with Hans, the co-founder and CEO of Nufi, a company focused on enabling trust across Latin America. We unpack how identity verification really works, why compliance matters, and how solving the hard problems becomes a lifelong pursuit. This episode goes beyond business and into what it actually means to choose the entrepreneurial path. Tell me about your business. Tell me about KYC. Tell me about KYB. Tell me about how this all came about.
My name is Hans. I'm the CEO and one of the two co-founders of Nufi. What we do at Nufi is that we verify the identity of anybody in Mexico. We provide you with clean and structured data so that you can make a quick decision whether to trust that person or that company. We have a little bit over 500 B2B clients now. We are doing around 2 million transactions of verification transactions every month. And we have two main products, our KYC, our background check, which is basically a report on you or a company. Okay, that's a fixed report. And our KYB, our Know Your Business product, which is getting the documents that represent the identity of a company. So those are the bylaws, those are the bank accounts, those are the Mexican, like the IRS kind of thing that we do over here. So we get all of those things, we process them, we extract data, and we provide that data to mostly financial institutions or people that need to trust other people. So Nufi is 4 years old now, 4 years old this year. We've raised some money. We've raised $3 million so far. We had a lot of accolades. We have been in Forbes. We have the Tec de Monterrey, which is like the most renowned school in Mexico, gave us a high impact entrepreneur award. But most people really know us because we went to Shark Tank Mexico and we got the 5 sharks to invest. So yeah, we've gotten a lot of awards, but the thing, just like I mentioned, that I'm really proud of is like Nufi is profitable since 2 years now.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I had like black hair when I started 4 years ago. So yeah, I'm really, I definitely appreciate that Nufi is profitable because it's a completely different game prior to before. And I think that what you want to do is really help somebody solve a big problem. And the fact that you're profitable, it shows that people are willing to pay you money in order to solve that problem. So yeah, of course, we will be raising probably money in the future. But anyways, having Nufi solve a problem and us getting enough revenue to be profitable and pay our employees and whatnot, that's really cool.
Incredible. In only several years. And your growth in that amount of time is incredible. How did you first come up with the idea? Where did the need stem from that you said, this is what I'm going to do and this is needed in this market?
They say that you need to give credit where credit is due, right? That is?
No, I've heard that, yeah.
Okay. So it is not my idea. It's my co-founder's idea. It's Illich's idea. And I like to always remind people that this is not my idea, because in case Nufi blows up, the guilty guy is going to be Illich, okay? So yeah, it was Illich's idea. He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer from one of the most renowned schools in Mexico. We both have been working in a company that I created 8 or 10 years ago, and we were really focusing on doing digital onboarding processes for companies. So we're basically working with identity. But when I sold that company, we were talking, we wanted to do something together, and we said, okay, why don't we start with the things that we know? Why don't we start with identity? Why don't we build the building blocks of this identity provider? And that's where Nufi started. Yeah.
How do you gain access to this information that other people are willing to pay for?
Mexico is very different than other countries because we're very close to the US, but also very close to the Central and South America. And that means that, yes, we see what maybe a first world is like in the US or Canada, but we also have all of the problems from Latin America. And that means that in Mexico, most things are not digitized at all. Yes, there are some systems that are maintained by the government, but even those systems are very sketchy and they don't have a service level agreement that is good for you to rely on. So we started saying, okay, so which are the public data sources that most financial institutions are going to be using? And there are some that are identity related, others that are communications related, like your phone and your email and whatnot. And we gathered all of those data sources and said, okay, what do we need to do in order to provide this reliably? How do we get an API in front of our customers or a solution, a full portal in front of our customers that will allow them to get all of this public information in a straightforward fashion? And we started with those. Then we moved on to semi-private information, which is more sensitive one that maybe you need to get a little more creative in order to get the data. And we also have data that is really closed, that in order for me to get Aiden's data, I need to get your full consent and explicit consent, and I need to be able to have an audit on that consent as well. So we have these three very big blocks of data sources, and it all depends on what the customer is going to need, the way that we make it accessible for them.
And I assume whoever the customer is, it depends what, if it's financial, they might need something a little bit more deep. If it's, a little bit more surface level, then they might go with the first option with public data that's consolidated for their needs.
Yeah, since you are talking financial institutions, most of them need compliance. They cannot get data from you, even if it's just outside in clean view of everywhere else. They cannot just go and get Hans's data and say, oh, Hans has some money, I'm gonna send him a credit card. No, they cannot do those things. So they need to be compliant with the privacy laws that we have in Mexico, and they need to be compliant with the fintech laws that we have in Mexico as well. So we are born out of compliance. Yes, I said that technically we try to find out how to get these data sources in place and get these data sources into portals. However, the very second thing that we did is, okay, how can we make these data sources compliant in order for our clients to be able to access them and not having any problems whatsoever? That's definitely one of our biggest value propositions. Okay, you want to be compliant, you want to have the data source quick, you want to have a service level agreement, and you want to have the most data that you can within Mexico. Okay, the answer is Nufi. If you're doing things in other countries, then the answer is not Nufi. Some of my competitors are happy to offer those things. But if we're talking about data sources from Mexico, I'm the guy that has them all, okay? And that's actually one of our moats. Get all of the data that financial institutions need in just one place with service level agreement with compliance.
So prior to Nufi, how would they go about getting the same information? Would they have to go to multiple different companies?
They needed to go to multiple companies. Most of financial institutions still have a department whose sole purpose is to get the data and verify the data when you're opening up a bank account or you're providing a loan or whatnot. What we did is make it straightforward and very quick. So it's not that they get rid of that department, it's rather that it's a linear department. The department mostly defines the rules now, and we provide the data. So we took a process that was manual and maybe a couple of weeks long, and we made it 5 minutes long.
And how about the KYB side of things? Because I feel like most people these days are familiar with what KYC means, what information it carries and that sort of thing. But KYB is a unique idea, at least to me, when doing research on Nufi and what you do. Is it proprietary? Is it your idea? How did it come about? And what's the importance of that compared to KYC?
KYB is the black pearl, okay? It's something that everybody wanted to solve or get, but nobody could really do so. And it is a conjunction of things that have happened. You now have AI that is capable of very well reading documents, classifying documents, that we can get specific AIs for ourselves to handle images. So we can check if the documents have been forged or in any way, right? And then you can gather all of that data and try to put it in the lens of the people, of the analyst that is going to be reviewing it, be it someone from a legal background or a financial background or a compliance background. So those things were not available up until 2 years ago. Okay, so we began tackling KYB processing. Okay, KYB, so you need to gather all of the documents of a company or a person, right? But those are documents. Those are physical documents typically that you need to either take a picture or scan or whatnot. And you have PDFs, you have different layers and different levels of quality of documents. And you want to have some type of standardized process in order to get that document and extract the data that you want. And that wasn't available, okay? So we began by doing what was easy, of course. So we began, can we classify the documents? Can we see if the documents have been forged? Can we extract the text of the documents? And we stopped there because the AIs were not available for us to go further. But when we got into the Google Accelerator, we went in the AI route. And those guys really enable us to see tools that were not even market ready yet, but we were able, we can do those things, right? So having access to those tools proved to be very good for us because we built our own stack. We are not an OpenAI wrapper or any of those things. We have our own AI stack. And that means that we're also very lean and our operation is really, really efficient, and we don't need to pay for tokens to anybody else. So nowadays, what that means for a client is that you can say, okay, instead of having a lawyer that will analyze bylaws and all of these legal documents, I'm going to have Nufi's agents or Nufi's APIs analyze those documents. And the thing that I want is I want to know if you can get into a contract with me, and I want to know if you have more than $1 million in revenue. Okay, and Nufi will gather the data, do the analysis, and then it will say, I'm acting as a lawyer right now, but you mentioned more than $1 million in revenue, right? So that's the financial guy. So over to one of our agents, which are financially capable, and that guy is gonna say, okay, give me the bank statements, give me the access to the Mexican IRS, give me all of those things. I'm going to take a look at them. And, you know what? These guys, these guys have $2.8 million in revenue. From my side, that's okay. Lawyer, from your side? Yeah, from my side, it's okay. Okay, analyst. Can you take a look at these two things and check for compliance to see if you cannot really provide the loan to this customer? And an agent from Nufi as well is going to take on the compliance side and see, okay, financially, these guys are okay. Legally, these guys are okay. And yes, regarding compliance, I can definitely provide a loan to that company. So that means a lot. That means not just extracting the data, but rather having the eyes and the ears that those people used to have for that data. So at the end of the day, what that means for our customers is, okay, I used to have a certain amount of lawyers, I used to have a certain amount of business analysts, and maybe I'm just going to keep one or two because those are going to be the guys that are going to be dealing with this information. But yeah, this is definitely our most technical accomplishment so far. I think a third of our revenue comes from KYB so far, but that thing has to shift next year. Next year, I definitely see 2/3 coming from KYB alone, just because it is so complex and people are willing to pay so much money for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is kind of complex, and I get very deep into it. But at the end of the day, companies are willing to pay for, being straightforward with those documents and getting more time on their side.
Walk me through a use case. Financial is pretty straightforward, whether it be a bank saying, can I give this individual or this business a loan? Is it also, could it also be used for suppliers, like a company checking the business operations of another company?
Well, most of the use cases are definitely financial. That's the first one. And yes, when you're onboarding suppliers, that's a very big use case as well, because you don't want to do business with people that are not going to pay you, or that are going to steal your products, or they are doing bad things in other places. Okay, and that's a veil that is very difficult to unveil. Ooh, wow, that's a veil that is very difficult to unveil, because when you have an LLC or Inc. or whatnot, which we have those in Mexico as well, it's very easy for you to set up a company, do bad things in that company, and then go to another company and do good things over there. And you're asking for a loan over there, right? Not with the bad company. Or you're trying to open up new bank accounts over there. But maybe you wanna clean some money, right? And in that case, maybe both of your companies are gonna be involved. And that's the thing about KYB, that you're able to, yes, assess that company in all of the stuff that that company represents. But since we have the background check capabilities as well, we are able to see that you are a partner or an associate in this company as well, and are able to get that information and say, yeah, you should not be opening bank accounts in the name of Eden or whatnot. So yeah, there are a lot of use cases. I come back to the financial use case, but digital onboarding of companies that are going to provide you a service is one, and another is like we're in this very beautiful Airbnb, right? And there are people from Canada that are doing a shooting, right? So you don't know these guys, and Airbnb should have done a background check. Maybe they did. We're just social networks and whatnot. But if an exception is detected here or there, you're able there to say, okay, send me this or send me the other, so that Airbnb can process them and come back with a yes or no answer. So at the end of the day, it is always the client's responsibility, of course, and they do as they please with that data. But our use case is, I'm going to provide you with the data that you need, right? So yeah.
In experience through chatting to hundreds of entrepreneurs as a result of what we do here, which is what we're doing right now, one of the commonalities that we've found is that for a business to be successful, as yours has proven to be, it goes beyond the profit, and it goes into passion as well. Like, you have to be passionate about what you do, because then you're driven to do it every day and do it to the best of your ability, et cetera. What drove you down this path? I know you mentioned you were chatting with Ilich and he had the idea, but you're obviously doing it for a deeper reason. So can you identify, something maybe in your personal life, your personal experience, maybe something with your previous business as to why this particular path is important to you?
Okay, I've been an entrepreneur since 2005. Okay, that's 20 years now, and that means that I don't get a paycheck. I give out paychecks, right? That's what I do. So for me, solving a problem is something that it's very akin to being an addict. I cannot leave it. There's always another problem to solve. And if you choose a big enough problem, like the one that I have right now, being able to trust other people or companies, then you are always going to be working on something. The passion is there because there is an internal need of myself to work on something complex, okay? And I always do the parallel with the drug addict, because I think it is a problem. In my case, I think it's a problem. And even people say, oh, you need to balance things. No, I don't balance things. Oh, but is your family not important? Yeah, it is the most important thing to me. So you should give them more time? No, I should not give them more time. I have my own life. My wife has her own life. My kid has his own life. Okay? We are a family, the three of us. We love each other, definitely. And most people will say, I will die for them, right? That's what people will say. No, I think that I will work every single day for them. That's different. You can take a bullet for someone else, I think, every single day. But to be able to take a bullet all of the days of your life, that is something completely different. And that's what an entrepreneur chooses, to take bullets every single day of their lives, right? So some of them do it for the money, some of them do it like me because they want to be working on something complex and they want to see something better in the world, right? And I think all of those things are valid. But at the end of the day, your question was, what motivates you? I think that solving a problem is what really motivates me. And that means that for me, whenever I see some problem, everything blacks out. And the only thing that I do see, in fact, is that problem that I have in front of me that I want to solve. So yeah, that's why I make the comparison with the addict. And that's why I always say, yeah, I'm not balanced at all. And I don't want to be. I don't intend to. 49 years old, okay? And if the life, God, or whoever gave me this is out there, I want another 49, okay? And I want another 49 doing this. If this was going to be my last day, it will be a good day, okay? I drove my kid to school. Mice chewed my Ethernet cable in my second story floor today, okay? So I went out there, I got 20 meters of cable, quickly patched it out, quickly put it inside the second story, down 2 floors to my office, which is on the back of my house. And all of those things prior to 8:30, because I had an 8:30 meeting, right? I took my meeting. I was going to raise $1.5 million US dollars. And they said, okay, I'm going to give you half in that meeting. And then I went to my kitchen and make a couple of eggs, scrambled eggs for myself, okay? With some salad. And then a client called me and said, okay, Hans, I need to solve this. Can you help me? And I got into that, okay? And it wasn't even 10 o'clock in the morning. And I had a meeting of billions of dollars. I went into my roof to fix something and with the problem of probably falling. And I also did the cook thing, and cooked some eggs and took my kid to school. So yeah, normal life. Okay, this might seem normal to some people, but I do a lot of different things every single day. And at least for me, that's what keeps me happy. Not sane, because I don't think I'm sane at all. But that keeps me happy. And if it's like I said right now, if I get out right now and I get a fulminating attack or something, and this will be my last day, this will be a very cool day. And I met you guys as well. And I'm watching my kidneys. Okay? So I think that's what drives the entrepreneur at the end of the day. Something really good for him. Right? Might be money in some cases. I think it's the least of the cases. It is something that drives him from the inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Solving problems and happiness.
Solving problems. In my case, it's solving problems. But there are other people that I know that are great entrepreneurs and that they have different things. But I think money is the least motivator. As a matter of fact, I think it's a very bad motivator.
I love it. And I think you absolutely nailed it. I think entrepreneurs at heart are driven by solving problems, right? That's what we do. That's what we identify the problem and we think we have a better solution than anybody else does. And the successful ones do. And the other ones hopefully pivot and find a different problem to solve, right? That's interesting because you also said earlier that you have made an exit from a previous company that you started. Yes. So I'm curious, if you've made an exit, does that mean by that definition that you felt like you've solved that problem, it's time for the next one?
No. No, I don't think so. I've had good things and bad things and very bad things. So my first company was in 2005, all the way up to 2012. and I made good money there, and we were doing very complex things regarding technology. I made so good money there that I decided to create my own innovation lab, and then I lost all my money. And I got into debt as well because I even lost more. But the third company, the one that I sold previous to this, it was focused on digital onboardings, right? And it was focused on financial institutions, but it was a service delivery company. I've always been a service delivery guy. I've always done a project and then a different project and then another different project. So for Nufi, no, I wanted to focus on something, and I didn't want to work for somebody else. When I sold that company, fortunately, I got a couple of offers that were really, really good to be a CTO for somebody else. And yeah, you don't even need to worry. I just need you to sign on things, have hands, take a look at it, and just say that we're on the right path. But no, that wasn't the appropriate thing. So no, I think that the motivation for this one was to solve the identity problem and working on the identity problem. But I don't feel like I solved digital onboarding processes at all. There are a lot of companies that are doing those things, and there continue to be a lot of service companies that focus on those things. Very much so, I wanted to solve as a part of the stack for identity. And that's what I think I'm doing right now with the trust thing in Nufi, okay?
You're spending time doing something, obviously, that you just described that you love, right? And that's what you're motivated by, is ensuring that, you're solving a problem, B, you love doing it. How do you define when you know that you're solving the right problem at any given time? As you said, you've worked on many different businesses, different things. And is there a feeling that you get right now working on Nufi that's like, yes, this is where I'm meant to be. This is why why am I doing this?
Okay, this is where I'm meant to be, yes, because I choose to be there. That's actually one of the things that I like to say to young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs that are just getting into entrepreneurship, is that I choose to be here. I choose to be here, and that is very different. I'm very much motivated to solve this big problem. That's very, very different. Motivation comes and goes. There are some times that you're elated, right? And you think that you can solve a lot of problems. And there are some times that, oh man, I'm an asshole and I'm a stupid guy and I don't know anything about this, right? But throughout the days, you choose to be there. Every single day. It doesn't matter how you feel. You choose to be here and you choose to execute. And that's very different. And I get goosebumps just by saying so. Because I think that it's part of the defining characteristics of an entrepreneur as well. You're choosing to be there and you're executing. And even your pose is different when I'm saying this. Okay, I choose to be here and I'm executing. When you're talking about motivations, you're always, up and to the left, thinking, watching the clouds go by and living in the future. And when you're thinking about, have I done it good in the past? Okay, you're thinking about the past, right? And I like to say that we all have this time machine in ourselves that constantly takes us to the past to see what we have done wrong or the roads that we could have taken, and are always building castles, right? Yes, I'm gonna solve this and I'm gonna get this money and finally I'm gonna be able to do that or pay for this or the other. So time travel, solved, my friend, because you can do it every single day. You can go to the past and you can go to the future. The problem is, it is not time travel itself. The problem is staying in the present, again, being present and being executing every single day. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay? So that's the difference. You need to be there. When things happen, you need to be in front of those things. For your problem, the problem that you're trying to solve, and for your family, okay, and for yourself. That's why I feel that, in my case at least, even though I'm very much unbalanced, I'm always there for my family. I'm very seldomly there for myself. That's a problem, okay? That's a problem that I'm dealing with, and I'm trying to see how can I make myself healthier and say to myself, okay, if I'm better, then I'm gonna be better for the problem that I'm trying to solve, okay? But at the end of the day, I think that the challenge comes up to that. Not travel in the time machine that you have inside you, keeping that time machine set in the present. And if you are here in the present, be there executing what you meant to execute. Whether you're working on your startup, or whether you're working on your family, or maybe it's time for you to take care of yourself in that day. Maybe you had a couple of panic attacks on the way to the office. Okay, man, grab a Diet Coke, drink it, okay? Do something, and then come back. But yeah, I think that's my answer for that.
Love it. You describe this wave, this motivation as a wave, right? You know, you have your high days where you have high motivation and you want to conquer the world, and then you have low days where, you just can't get out of bed. Maybe, you have panic attacks on the way to the office, whatever the case may be. Yeah. But the important thing is that you're intended to be there. That's that flat line, right, of execution. When you have a low day, everybody has them. Yeah. How do you bring yourself to execute on that flatline level?
It's gonna sound so cliche, but it is so true. You just need to give one step, okay? There are 10 or more steps from where I'm standing to that door, right? I'm not thinking about going through the door, okay? I'm just trying to think about, can I get up of this bed? Oh God, please help me get up of this bed, right? God, nature, whatever, help me. Okay, so I take the first step. And if I'm able to get up, I take the second one, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and like so. And, man, I'm in front of the door right now. Can I turn this knob? Gather the strength to turn it. And if I'm doing this right now, as you can see it, it's because I have been in those shoes. I battle a lot with depression. I battle a lot with panic attacks. I battle a lot with my health, with my physical health and my mental health. So there are a lot of days in which I can't. I just, today, when I lost those $1 million that I told you in 2012, that I lost everything and I was $2 million in debt. I remember, being in the shower. And I think that for the first time in my life, I was hearing my wife and my baby kid on the background. And I just said, oh man, can I just vanish and disappear here right now? And the only thing why I didn't do anything is that I have a kid this guy did not ask to be born, right? So I need to help that kid. So find something. For me, it was one step in front of the other. And my kid, oh man, I need to help that guy, right? So no, you're not able to get out of bed today, but you can get one foot in front of the other. Let me get the laptop and begin, calling people over here. And then when I manage to get out of bed in 1 hour or 2, then it will be something different and I'll be able to take a call, right? But I find my anchors. Obviously, you probably don't have a kid, or you don't need to have a kid to find your anchor. But you will always find that the anchors always come back to what you are inside you. So that means external things should not bother you and should not influence you. If you use them as levers to get out, those work, and use them. But if you overuse the motivation of your wife, your kid, your mom or dad, or somebody's gonna miss you or whatnot, all those external things will not let you be yourself. So at the end of the day, I'm always able to put one foot in front of the other. I think that's what gets me. Okay? When the stuff is really, really difficult, just one foot in front of the other, and then the other one, and then the other one, and then, oh man, okay, so I'm on the ceiling fixing things, or I'm with a client doing things. I think that in my case, I know that I'm a little bit off and that I need some medication, and I take the newer medications and all of those things. But even for people that are completely right, I think that the answer comes to within yourself, both for your life and your meaning and what you're trying to solve. If you can do those things, I think that the universe is going to be groovy with you.
Do you think that it takes finding that bottom, to prove to yourself that you can take that first step and the next step and the next step? And what I mean by that is, you mentioned you were in debt $2 million, you had a crying baby at home, you were in the shower, and you were in this tough spot. I'd sympathize. That's a complicated place, and everybody has their own unique bottom.
Yeah.
Do you think it takes being in that place to be able to prove to yourself that you're capable of anything?
I don't think that you need to find it, or you don't need to look for it. Life is gonna take you on some roads where it will take you down one, where the answers are not gonna be obvious at all, and even probably are not gonna be dependent on what you do. That's where people say, "Oh, thank God," and that's where they find God. I think that I found God only when I need Him, if that makes any sense. And I think that the only times that I found Him were related to my kids' health, okay? That I needed something for my kids' health. And one of the things that we as men, at least in Latin American communities, have is that we tend to interiorize all of our feelings and we don't get them out, right? So that takes you to these dark places. But I don't think it's needed. I just think that life is gonna take you that road sometime or the other, whether you're young or very old, but they will take you on that spot. You don't need to look for that dark spot. You're gonna get there, okay? Most of the revelations of life are on our day-to-day basis, are on the interactions that we do with people that we know forever or we just barely know. And out of those interactions, we get the real knowledge that we carry on and we pass on to other people. And I would like to get it that way. Because when you're in a dark place, you're learning something about that dark place, right? But I would rather try to get you out of that position and say, we're able to learn from every single interactions that we do. You choose to be the asshole, or you choose to be the guy that helps somebody else. And you don't need to be the very good guy every single day. Just don't try to be the asshole very often, okay? Not very often. It's gonna come out, okay? But try to be the good guy here. And I think there's some deeper knowledge or meaning in those things. I think that the people that I have really connected to in some way have been deep in those matters, right? So yeah, no, you don't need to. Don't find that place. Don't look for it. You're gonna get there. Don't look for that bad place there, but rather look for these interactions and try to get the knowledge that you can and the wisdom. That was the word that I was looking for. Try to get the wisdom that you can from the interactions that you have with other people, with nature and whatnot, and with your God if you have it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm loving this conversation so far, and I'm seeing so many parallels because I'm going back to this wave, right, of motivation. And I feel like that was a micro example of something that you've experienced in a larger area of life, which is, this wave of your first business was very successful, right? And then you came down and then you had a tough one, right? And then now you're back up again. What do you learn from those, the business that failed, if you will? Or, I mean, nothing fails, it's a learning experience. But coming out of that space, what did you learn and how do you apply that to your endeavors in the future?
Okay, I've learned that businesses do fail. They are not only learning experiences because they do fail. You owe money to somebody else, or you lost your own money, or the thing that the value that you are trying to provide, it's not enough for other people to pay it, or they don't know that you're available and they don't pay it, right? So yeah, there's a lot to be learned from losses or from failure, definitely. You need to fail in a way that allows you to learn from those mistakes, okay? That is one of the things that I do come back to, that you need to be curious about your life, okay? You need to be curious. And that being curious helps when you fail. Because, man, I lost that client, or, oh man, I didn't close it, or, oh man, I've tried so much for that bid, or that second or third bid, and I don't seem to be closing anything. Man, am I like jinxed or something? Oh no. And then you begin to think those things, but rather, if you were rather to be curious about them, oh man, why did I lose 3 bids in a row? What am I doing? Should I be doing X and the other? Okay, so being curious helps a lot. And being curious provides this knowledge that is just sitting around there. So rather than saying, okay, what have you learned, or did you fail or not? Yeah, I did fail. Yeah, I learned some of the times. But if I just take a look backward, like 10 years, like in a block, I'm able to say 10 years, right? But if I like get maybe from 2005 to 2015, I think that one of the learnings were, don't be so hard on yourself. Another cliche, but it is right. I was working 18 hours a day, every single day, and I was losing clients. And when I was in my second entrepreneurship and my second business, I was losing clients, I was losing money. I used to live like down here and had a very nice apartment. And when I lost all of those things, I used to live all the way to whatever in a very small rented, not apartment, house of 1 room, where I was having my shower thing. And everything that I was saying to myself was wrong. Okay, you're an asshole, you don't know how to do things, you're a stupid guy, you used to have money and now you don't have anything, and how are you going to repay those things? Okay, so, and it took me 10 years to get out of those things. But right now, if I were to lose all of my money right now, I will never go to that place in my mind or in my heart. Not at all. I will get a cartwheel and begin selling ice pops or fried chicken. I don't care. Or if you want a web page, oh, man, there are people that still want web pages, right? I will do a web page for you, or I will develop a system in Lovable or whatnot.
You'll take the first step.
I will take the first step. I will take the first step. I can be mad, okay? But I will not let the feeling get a hold of me. And I did for those 10 years. Okay, I definitely did. So then again, when I see new entrepreneurs, I had one last week. Yeah, I sold my company. You sold your company? The company that you told me that I wasn't making any money, you sold it? Yeah, I sold it, and now I'm doing a new one. No bullshit, my friend. How much did somebody else pay for your company? No. I basically took some debt, and I let that debt being paid from other guy. It didn't sell the company. And you're trying just to say that to yourself because you're trying to cover what you think is a failure. What you think is a failure. And it's just the first step. So I said, you and I are going to have a communion right now, my friend. I'm not going to name the entrepreneur because I love this guy. But you and I are going to have a communion. And we're going to get to the no bullshit agreement, okay? And I'm going to help you. And you're going to help yourself as well. And there's not gonna be, just like the Karate Kid, so karate. No, you're gonna either do karate yes or do karate no. So you said that you have a second entrepreneurship, right? As a second startup that you're building. Okay, are you gonna be building this one? Oh, I don't know, because at the last one I lost money. Are you gonna be building this one? Yes. Okay. Karate, yes, right. Okay, so no bullshit, and let's focus on the problems here, and then just tell me what you're working on and what we need to working on right now. And that's a shift in your mind and in your attitude. You're not traveling to the past, you're not trying to build a unicorn, you're just trying to solve this problem right now. Okay? That's a good thing. Right now, I'm just gonna do this. And this is what I can do right now. Oh, but I'm really intelligent. I could have gone to MIT and I'm just solving this small problem. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. You can do it.
The bigger problems
I'm even rooting for you, my friend.
Yeah.
Even if that's a small problem. I like to say that this small problem is like a candle that you just lit. When you just lit the candle, it's very easy for a candle to turn off. Even a breeze can take it off. Even if you think that the candle is gonna go off, it can go off. So that's the stages at first when you're starting something, or when everything is going wrong. No, you're just gonna take care of this candle. Okay, it's gonna be there. And then a candle wants to burn, right? I don't even need to tell you to burn. You're gonna burn right there by yourself. I just need to be here with you working, okay? Giving you oxygen and whatnot. And when I'm ready, then I will move on and take that candle and lit a fireplace or whatever. But that day, I took the first step, I lit the candle, I watched it, the candle wants to burn. I don't need to do much about it. I just need to be there. And that's it. And I think this guy got it. And I think he's gonna work on it. And I don't know if he's gonna be successful or not. It doesn't really matter. He's working on his own candle right now. That's a cool thing. So can you recognize people for what they're working on right now? Can you help them a little bit? Can you provide this knowledge to them? And I probably think I mentioned this to you. That's why this year I created the cockroach entrepreneur things. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's dive into that. Tell me what is that all about, and how did it come to be?
It came to be because everybody needs help sometime. Everybody needs a little bit of help, and everybody can teach other people things that they know, and everybody can also learn. So I try to mimic this as how I look up on my life, right? When we started Nufi, we were, asking for customers, asking for prospects, asking for investment, and everybody was saying just no, 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 and just like cockroaches, they just try to tell you and throw you a chancla or throw you a tennis and try to kill you, right? But we survived those things, and everybody's really brave until a cockroach flies. That's why we say over here in Mexico. And when we began to fly in Nufi, everybody wanted to invest in us. Everybody wanted to give us money or be our customers. And I think that rather for me just say how good we got it now, I would much rather say it took us this thing to go through to get to where we are. Okay? So you need to learn this. You need to learn this. And if I keep this knowledge from you, if I keep this knowledge from the rest of the entrepreneurs that are out there, I am doing something wrong. So that's why we started Cockroach Entrepreneurs, so that the community can benefit itself from the knowledge of other people. That's why zero bullshit, okay? Help first and execute always. That's part of the motto. So if you're not helping, you are not really a cockroach entrepreneur right now. And if you're not executing, if you're just thinking and saying and whatever, you are not a cockroach entrepreneur. You will get it. You will get it eventually. But that's why I try to push on the entrepreneurs that, at least the ones that I get to know, is, man, help other people. You don't need to help me. Oh, you don't need something, Hans. Yeah, I need a lot of things. I even have a couple of screw loose. If you have some screws, I can use them. But rather than just, giving me back a favor that I did to you, no, pass it on, help other guy or gal, okay? And do it while you're working. While you're working on your problem, or you're working on solving something that is really important and deep for you.
Do you feel like you had the support that you're giving with this cockroach entrepreneur kind of community when you were building your previous businesses?
Previous businesses, no. And on Nufi, I think that it's a curious thing, support, because it means that you recognize it as well as support. Probably people tried to help me and I didn't let them. So now I realize that they were trying to help me, right? But on the time being, I probably said, no, this guy is trying to get advantage of me or something. But no, now foresight is 2020. Hindsight is 2020. On hindsight, I can say, yeah, he was trying to help me or she was trying to help me. But I think there's always help available there. You probably don't notice it. And it's probably not the one that you want to have in that moment. You probably think that you need money, and that's the help that you want right now. And you probably need somebody else to tell you, hey, man, no. You're doing the wrong things. Take a turn over here and focus on this, rather than focusing on this thing that you wanted so bad. That's one thing that I do get in my life now. I want to study in MIT because I'm a nerd, right? The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, it's supposed to be like the greatest school ever for engineers, right? And I didn't go there. I went to the Monterey Institute of Technology, another MIT, which is supposed to be the best one in Latin America, right? 15 years after I graduated, I got some money and I went to MIT. I couldn't pay my master's completely, but I got some executive courses and whatnot through a couple of summers, like 2 or 3 summers. So I did go to MIT, okay? And, I wanted to have like a really nice car, a really fast car. Ooh, that's so cool. I want to have like a Ferrari or something like that, right? No, I don't have a Ferrari, but I have a Tesla, okay? And it's even faster than a Ferrari if that's what you want, right? So things have a way of not working out the way that you wanted them to work, but working the way that you needed them. So I've been very fortunate to understand a lot of these things. And when I get to meet people like you guys that are doing something different, I say to myself, what part of my journey are they in? What part of their journey am I going to be in and help them, right? So that's why I try to, like the movie Yes Man, I try to say yes a lot of the times. But I do bring my own water. You need to be careful. Guys. Bring your own water.
It's such a curious thing. I'm reflecting on what you said about people receiving help and kind of rejecting help in some avenues because maybe you're looking for an answer and you think you have the answer, or you're looking for somebody to tell you or validate something or invalidate something, but in doing so you've already set a framework for the advice or feedback that you're looking for.
That's it.
And it's boxed, right? Because then you're thinking within a box, whereas somebody could be telling you something that could change the trajectory of everything else, but you're closed-minded to it.
Yeah.
Regardless of what that looks like.
And that's because we build constructs of what we think is what a success or failure, or what we are executing. It is a construct, right? So by definition, it has to be a box. So when there are things happening outside of that box, you are not able to notice them because that's not the focus. That's not your focus. How can you notice those things that are happening on the edges? You can practice. You can be just like you have immunity if you get vaccines and whatnot. You can practice looking at the edges of things. You can practice trying to look at people and trying to see if there is something different to that people that you might want to learn. In practicing those things, you will get into a lot of problems and you will get into a lot of new cool adventures as well. But you need to actively look for it. When people say, no, my life is always the same. I'm doing the same things every single day, okay? And I might just walk by to you and say, oh man, I love it. Why did you have that tattooed on you? Is it because Samsa? I don't know how to say it in English. The guy that found himself an escarabajo, oh man, that found himself being that type of insect in his bed the next morning. He was a human, and then the next morning he got himself being a escarabajo. I don't know if he is like that, but I will ask you. I will ask something out of you, and Aiden will probably say, I'm not going to share something, but then you end up sharing something, right? So it is a practice. It is something that I teach my kid a lot. Look around the edges. Ask the things that other people are not asking, okay? And my kid is deaf on one side. He doesn't have that ear, and he doesn't have the ear canal and whatnot. And on the side that he does have an ear, he has a very small ear canal. But he hears, right? So this is a double-sided lesson for him. I want you not to think on, oh man, I'm missing something. No, be able to focus. Take a look around that. Take a look on the edge. Think a little bit. Ask the things that need to be asked. Execute always. And I say that those two things in Spanish, obviously, not, I don't say them in English. But ejecuta. Piensa un poco más para allá. Pregunta lo que no se ha preguntado. Mantente callado un poco más. Keep quiet a little bit. Be still. It is, for me, better to be still and think a little bit. Think 5 seconds and come back to Aiden and say, oh, okay, Aiden, now I understand this. Now I understand what you're trying to communicate to me. Okay? And that's the cool thing about having kids. You're able to learn from them. But yeah, I try to share this with the entrepreneurs that I meet as well. Are you able to look at the edges of things? Are you able to ask the questions that will get the different answer, the difficult answer? Not just the, hey, how are you doing? I'm great, thank you. No. Hey, man, what's up? Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, what's up, man? And you don't need to go deep every single time. No, my life is in shambles. No, man. No. Hey, what's up? Oh, what a great morning, right? Yeah, man. Have you looked at this and the other? Have you seen how the clouds are right now outside? Yeah, it's great. How I just installed solar panels in my house. How are the clouds affecting your solar panels in your house, man? You know, look, ask around the edges. There are things hidden there.
Share with me the experience of Shark Tank. I feel like that is a unique one that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to, which I'd like to explore. But also, like, I'm more curious about your feelings and your thoughts and how you went into it.
Shark Tank for us was 2 years ago. 2 years? 2 years or maybe 3? Something like that, right? Nufi was beginning to take off. Take off. We don't have the success that we have right now. We didn't, but we were getting there, right? We were I was seeing some glimmers of hope around those things. And I was raising some money. And one of the possible investors said, why don't you go to Shark Tank? I'm not going to give you money, but here's an advice, right? Okay. And he made an introduction. Oh yeah, go. Here's this guy. You need to apply as always, but here's an intro. And the minute that he gave me the intro, I said to my co-founder, "Hey man, I want to go to Shark Tank. I got this intro. This guy is gonna." And my co-founder said, "No man, are you crazy? They're gonna ground us and put us in the ground." And you don't know anything. And I went to my wife and I said, "Oh, we used to watch Shark Tank, do you remember? And I want to go to Shark Tank. I got invited. I just need to apply, but I'm going to get there." And my wife said, "No, you're not going to Shark Tank." And I'm not going to Shark Tank. I thought that I was going to Shark Tank. No. And don't get me wrong, but I don't want you to be the guy that has the sound, the dung sound, and that everybody says no to. And it's going to be on national TV. A lot of people watch Shark Tank, and they're just not going to get it. And then my co-founder said practically the same thing. They're not going to get it. It's complex what we do. And I said, this is kind of a dream of mine. And I do want to go. And I want to be respectful of what you guys are saying, but it is my dream to go there. If I don't get any investment, I don't care. They don't really invest money. They're very small amounts of money, at least in Mexico. But what is your real concern? My real concern is that they're not going to understand and that you might be making a fool of yourself. And I could take it several ways, right? I'm going to make a fool of myself. No. But no, I think I took it the right way. I think I said, yeah, you're right. I can make a fool of myself. So why don't we do this? Why don't we prepare like nobody else has prepared for Shark Tank? And then I can go there, I can go to Shark Tank, which is what I want, and we can transmit what we do and have our own answers. And we're going to be professional about it, okay? Nobody else, if they don't like it, I don't care, but professionals we are going to be, okay? So we prepare the possible questions, the answer to those questions, the possible questions regarding those answers, and the answer to those questions, and so on and so forth. I think like 3 or 4 times. I think that we had over 150 questions and answers, okay? We had a clean pitch, what we thought it was a clean pitch. We make a simple offer, which we knew that we were not going to get investment. Give me 1 million pesos and I will give you 1% of the company. Nobody is going to... That valuation was even lower than the one that we were raising money at, okay? And I just said, we're not going to accept anything, but let's just have, please God, let's just have one say, yes, I'm going to make an offer for you, okay? When you go to Shark Tank Mexico, we had recorded interviews before, and I get invited a lot to give conferences and talks, both pro bono and both paid. So I know production and I know these things, right? But yeah, we got into the studio and there were 200 people there. Okay, so that I didn't know. We got there at 5 a.m. They put some makeup on you. I did my, can you make me look like Brad Pitt kind of joke? And the guy said, no, of course not. You're ugly. That's the first thing that I got said like at 5:30 in the morning. And I said to this guy, yeah, man, don't worry. Just put something on me. I don't care. And we were going to be pitching at 1 p.m., I think. And I was working with Illich, with my co-founder, on the questions and answers and whatnot. And I think we were doing great. And then Illich said, okay, let's do one more time. And then we'll have an hour for you to rest, because I was going to be the one doing the pitch. You'll have an hour for you to rest and clear your mind. And then we'll go in, right? And I forgot all of the answers. And I forgot everything, and I didn't know how to start. And I said, damn, it's gonna happen what this guy said that is gonna happen. I'm gonna go in front of national TV and I'm gonna forget all of the answers. And then Illich said, no, don't worry. I'm gonna read you some of the answers. And he began reading like a couple of the words. And yeah, I repeated those words. And then, oh man, I forgot everything again. No, it was, and I said to Illich, you know what? I'm gonna go and get myself into a closet somewhere, okay? And I'm gonna come out 10 minutes before the time that these guys give us, right? I did, okay? So they take us into the big studio, and the sharks are way over there, like 50 meters, like, I don't know how many feet are those, but 50 meters there, and they tell you, yes, you have a microphone, and they have some feedback, but you need to practically shout, okay? So we walked over there, I began the pitch, and we started talking, and everything went sideways. Like it always does, right? Because we would say, okay, we're done. I did my best, right? But then one of the sharks said, no, I want to offer you what you're asking. And then another said, no, I want to offer what you're asking. And then the 5 said, and we were not prepared for those things. We didn't, I think I prepared for everything, but obviously not for the 5 sharks going in. And even when I was getting there, so you go into this place, which is like a closet, clean closet, a transparent closet. And I was saying to Illich, don't worry, let's delay ourselves a little bit. It doesn't really matter. We'll come back. We're gonna have all of them over here. And when I came out, I set the offer. 4 of them said yes, and another one says no. And I had to say to her, I need you to stop thinking, Carla, and trust me, okay? If you trust Hans, you're gonna invest. And she said yes, but then the other of the sharks said no. Oh man. And now I wanted the 5, okay? Because I'm getting the thing that nobody got. And I asked her, why are you saying no? Marisa left. The shark from the cookies. And she said, how many times have you had in your life being told no? And do you really want an answer? Or yeah, I want an answer. Okay, Marisa, I'm a collector of no's. Everybody says no to me. And that's fine. Of every single no, I get an objection that I can work on, and that I can learn, and that I can modify my business to. And then she said, what are you going to do with 5 yeses? And that's it. And then everybody said, yeah, we have a deal. And they all came in and we hugged and whatnot. But yeah, on the episode that's aired on YouTube, they don't get the part that I'm telling you about, because I even had some small tear when she said, you're going to get 5 yeses and whatnot. So yeah, it was really cool. It was quite an experience. I will definitely do it again, but it's done.
Well, you don't need to.
No, I don't need to.
You got the 5 yeses.
I got the 5 yeses, and I think they're doing really well, because they came at a valuation that we are like 3 or 4 times, or 4 times the valuations that they came in. So yeah, and we're doing more money than when they came into as well. So yeah, everybody's happy, I think so.
Thank you for sharing the behind the scenes, because that no that's not aired is almost more powerful than the
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we are the only startup when they say yes or no or whatever, there's a due diligence process that they do after the TV show, right? So you cannot talk to them for 2 months. And after 2 months, when the episode airs, okay, they come back to you. And we were raising money at that time, and we were closing around. We had all of the investors that we needed, and they said, oh, we need to do a due diligence, and it usually takes between 6 to 12 months. And I said, thank you, but the round for the characteristics that I'm offering you ends in 4 weeks, because I'm already raising at twice the valuation that I gave you. So if you don't do your due diligence right now and deliver the funds in 4 weeks, no deal. I'm gonna honor what I said on TV, but 4 months have passed and I've made all of this revenue. It doesn't make any sense for me to give you this away and just wait 6 or 8 months for you. No. And everybody came in. By the 3rd week, everybody had deployed the money, the funds and whatnot. So yeah, it was very straightforward. It hasn't happened in the history of Shark Tank Mexico at all. So yeah, that's another win as well. When you're in the middle of it, whatever it means, you're in the middle of Shark Tank, you're in the middle of an event from cockroach entrepreneurs, you are pitching and raising funds, you are in front of prospects and trying to get a customer. When you are in the middle of it, you're executing, right? You're in the middle of it. But afterwards, if you take a couple of steps back, you can think that nothing would have happened if you hadn't executed those things. Okay, so Shark Tank did happen with that deployment of funds happens because I pushed those things. I raised that amount of money of people that maybe didn't believe in Nufi at first, but I pushed those things. Emprendedores Cucaracha, cockroach entrepreneurs, we got the event that we had in September, 1,000 people registered, and 700 people went there, with the municipality of San Pedro helping and whatnot. 700 people were there because I said one day, let's focus and bring all of these guys together and have some investors talk to them. I like to say that people affect the environment, okay? It is your choice to affect it in a positive way, but we do affect the environment, okay? And it is your choice as well how deep or how profound that effect has on your surroundings. I would like to think that I'm doing what I want to do and that I'm doing a good affection on the environment, okay? Can I do more? No. I'm watching my candle. This is my whole responsibility right now, this candle right now, okay? Can some old man do more or whatnot? Can I be like them? No. They're doing their thing over there as well. Okay? So that's really important for you guys. If you guys are seeing this in Latin America and you think that the guys in the US or Europe have it better, no. They're also doing their own thing. Do your own thing. Watch that candle. Don't let it don't let it go off, and have a good impact on what you're doing. What you are doing matters. If you hadn't done those things would not have happened.
What's the one thing you would leave with an audience of fresh entrepreneurs?
There are a couple of things that are really important for me. So important that I have them tattooed. And then I got the goosebumps as well. Over here it says mens et manus. That's the MIT motto. I didn't tattoo it because it was the MIT motto. I got it because it means mind and hand. It means to think things, but do things as well. Okay? But I think I'm missing one tattoo, which I hopefully have the next time that I see you guys. which is that the iron sharpens iron. Okay, that comes from Abrahamic religions, comes from the Bible, but it's also in the Quran or whatnot. But the important here is iron sharpens iron, just like a person sharpens another. Okay, so you're thinking things, you're executing things, but you also need to sharpen yourself by being with other people, by helping other people, and by letting them help you. Okay? I think that all of the concepts that we talked about right now can be really encompassed in all of those three things. Think about it, execute it, but also learn, sharpen yourself with other people. And there's friction there. When you're sharpening something, there's friction, there's a spark, there's heat. That's uncomfortable, okay? And that's fine. Is the end result a very sharp knife? Sometimes. But sometimes you have a dull knife, okay? That's fine as well. Just as long as you continue yourself sharpening you, learning, executing, doing what other people need you to do as well. I think that the next time that we see each other, I'm gonna see you guys a little sharper. Not because you are not right now, but because you will have completed the journey that you are learning from a lot of entrepreneurs, that you are trying to get all of this knowledge, and you're trying to get the knowledge out of entrepreneurs as well. So yeah, I would like to see you guys sharpen as well, and hopefully I will be a little bit more myself. So thank you guys, and have a good one.